what's up guys? Houston here. And for those of you just finding my YouTube channel, welcome. Please remember to hit that subscribe button and that bell. Now for those of you that's been following me and supporting me, salute. And for those of you that are my faithful patrons, double salute. Now today's video, we're actually going to be talking about how to leverage that $300 unsecured Visa credit card that Total gives you, even if you have bad credit or you're just coming out of a bankruptcy, okay, and how to leverage to turn it into $25,000 in funding. Now let's understand a few things about the Total Visa unsecured credit card. There's no security deposit, so like I said, it's unsecured. There's no minimum requirements, credit requirements. So what that means, basically, a person with new that's just starting out with credit or just coming out of bankruptcy, you should be able to get this card, okay? Now, if they do a soft pull, they're checking like Clarity, which is owned by Experian, DataX, which is owned by Equifax. They're using a Factor Trust, which is owned by TransUnion or CoreLogic. Now, the good thing about it, they do report to all three credit bureaus. That's really going to help you. And the reason I want you to focus on that is because of the things I'm about to show you. Now, unfortunately, the starting limits are about $300. Now, the rates and fees are high. So like, say that you get the credit card, it's a $300 credit card, but they're going to charge you probably like $89 up front, right? So you end up with just basically said $210 credit card. But I don't want you to focus on that small amount, because I'm going to help you get to the 25,000 with this here strategy. That's just so you can have a primary on your credit file. Now, for those of you that have had this Total Visa for a long time, if it's the oldest card on your credit, do not close it out, because if you close it out, you're going to hurt your credit history. So I had to let you guys know that if you already got the Total Visa and you had it for a long time, you definitely do not want to close it, because even though they charge the fees, if you close it out, you can kill your credit history. All right. Now, like I said, you can also get this credit card even if you're just coming out of bankruptcy. All right. Now, here's something that I want you all to understand. Using this strategy that I'm showing you right here, you can boost your credit score up from 25 up to 100 points. And the reason you want to do this before you go any further is because of leverage in order to get the $25,000 in funding. So there's companies like Grow Credit as well as Perch, and what they do, if you have a Netflix account, a Hulu account, any type of subscription account, they can report it to the credit bureaus. And one of the good things about this is that with Grow Credit, or excuse me, with Perch, if you're paying rent, they'll report at least 6 months of rent payments on your credit file. So that really helps you. Now you can also add pledge loans as well as credit builder loans, in which I'm going to talk about in a minute. But it's very important that you are aware of that. Then also adding authorized users. The extra credit card, I'm going to jump into that in just one moment. But the Boom Pay and Rental Karma, with Boom Pay, they state that they can report 2 years back of rental history, okay? So, and the reason that's important is because if you're trying to get qualified for a mortgage, with the new FHA rules, if you can show that you've been paying rent on time for a few years, that can help you qualify for an FHA mortgage, okay? So that's the reason that I'm telling you. Now, let's talk about that extra debit card. I've said it in several of my videos why you want to have that extra debit card. This extra debit card, because all your debit transactions that you make throughout the month, they're reported as one lump sum at the end of the month. Okay, so that helps with your credit score. Now, some of the things that you have to understand about this extra credit card, there's no credit check, and they don't charge you any fees to load the card, okay? Because it's connected directly to your bank account. All right, so you can't overspend so you can get overdraft and stuff like that on this here card. So that's the reason this card is so valuable. Now, let's talk about another card. It's called One Financial. All right, with One Financial. All right, the thing about it is they're like the extra debit card. All right, so you can have both of these cards reporting all your debit card transactions to help build up your credit, and that's going to be very important after what I show you. Sorry about that. Now, let's talk about Navy Federal and why you may want to try your hardest to get into Navy Federal. Well, most people are not aware that if you get into Navy Federal, even with bad credit, okay? Let me explain this. Even with bad credit, joining Navy Federal, what ends up happening if you have bad credit, I always tell people to go for the Nrewards card and do a pledge loan. Okay? Now, just with $200 deposit and you're using that card for 6 months, that card turns into a $2,000 unsecured card. So that's the reason that Navy Federal is so important. Now, if you want to jump ahead, here's a faster way to get that $25,000 in funding. If you become a member of Navy Federal, okay, you have the Nrewards, you have your personal account, your savings account, because it goes off of your internal scoring. So with Navy Federal, they look more at your internal scoring instead of your FICO score. All right, so you have to understand that the FICO score is important. However, they will take into consideration your internal score. So if you want to see that video, me explaining about the Navy Federal internal score, put a comment below so you can actually see that video. Now, going back to what I was saying, there have been people with bad credit, okay, with 530 credit scores that have been able to get anywhere from 5, 10, 15, $25,000 lines of credit with Navy Federal with a 530 credit score. Okay, and if you want to see that video, it's called the Navy Federal Midnight Hack video. If you want to see that video, put a comment below so you can actually see that video. All right, now if you have bad credit, okay, one of the things that most people make the mistake is they apply for a whole lot of revolving credit. All right. However, they don't have any loans on the credit score. So it doesn't balance out the credit file. You need to have a loan on it. All right. So that's the reason, like, if you have decent credit and say that you had a car, you finally pay it off. When you pay it off, then there's no other loan on the credit file. Your credit score drops. It can drop about 40 points. All right. But for those of you with bad credit, you're trying to get more funding and stuff like that, then another company is Universal Credit, okay? Because they deal with subprime borrowers, okay? So say that you have a 560 credit score, they can still help get you funding. Their average credit score is a 638, which is only what, about 90 point different. That's the reason I was telling you to, before you start applying for these other credit cards and stuff, to make sure that you add those positive trade lines to boost up the credit score, because they're going to pull from your Experian FICO 9. All right, now the average income for this here loan is 60,000. That's a hint, so that way you're able to know exactly what type of average income you need. That's just a hint for you. All right, now their loan amounts go anywhere from 1,000 to 50,000. Now just say that you was approved for $10,000. Okay, I want you to keep that $10,000 in mind. Now you have to have at least two accounts in order to be considered for their lines anyway. So that, again, that's the reason the total Visa unsecured card is a trade line, and then adding those other things will help reboost your credit score so that you can get more access to more money. All right. and their debt to income ratio is 75%. Most credit cards go anywhere from 45 to 55% for its funding, but this loan lender, they actually tolerate up to 75%. Now, just say you was an individual. Now you got the total Visa rewards. That's what helped start it off for its positive credit. Okay, that was 300. Then you moved on over to Navy Federal and you had the $200 secured card that turned into a $2,000 unsecured credit card. Then you did the Navy Federal hack, even though your credit score was still low, and you got the $25,000. Now that's not impossible because again, when I show you the video, and like I said, if you want to see the video, put a comment, hey, can I see the Navy Federal hack video? If you look in the comments, you'll see all these people with bad credit that was able to get 5, 10, 15, $25,000 in credit card funding. All right. Now, with that $10,000 from Universal Credit, this is what I would do. I would put it on a secured card from SABLE One. And here's the reason why. Because when you put that $10,000 on this here secured card, after 4 months it becomes unsecured and you get your money back. So you get that $10,000 back, plus now you have a unsecured card for $10,000. That's a strong primary that helps build up your credit. So now you have high trade lines on your credit file. So now you went from bad credit to being able to get over $25,000 in funding. And it is possible, but you have to follow the strategy that I'm telling you. Now, with this Sable credit, they don't even do a credit check. All right. You don't even have to have a social security number if you're a foreigner. Um, Again, there's no annual fees. So this is something that you definitely should consider to add if you have bad credit to help you make sure that you have strong primary trade lines. Now, once you have those strong primary trade lines, then here's another fintech company, Upgrade. And I made a video about Upgrade. So if you want to see that video, put a comment below. But with Upgrade, they even work with a 560 credit score. Their average is a 678, but they will work with somebody with a 560 credit score. Now, they loans go anywhere from 500 up to 50,000. This is their Upgrade Visa credit card, okay? So their average income is 78,000, but again, that's just a hint to help you guys understand. That doesn't mean if you don't make 78,000 that you're not going to get approved. I'm not saying that, but I'm just telling you that's the average income so that you can get the hint, I hope. Now, one other thing about this here, a few other things about this you have to understand is that again, you have to have at least 2 trade lines on the credit file. Again, I already showed you how to do that. So if you follow the strategy, you'll already be set. And their debt to income ratio is 75%. Now, they're not available in Colorado, Idaho, New York, Vermont, Virginia, Wisconsin, and Wyoming. However, those other lenders I showed you are that you can actually still help to get funding. Now, if you can't get into Navy Federal, here's the runner-up company credit union that you should want to get into. Now, I'm not pointing you toward banks. I'm pointing you toward credit unions because they have more flexibility and because they're easy to join and they're more easier to get you approved for funding. So with the Andrews Credit Union, okay, they offer business bank accounts, and that's very important, especially if you are driving, if you like a DoorDash driver or you're a freelancer or doing a side gig or something like that, having a business bank account so you're able to get more business funding to be able to expand your business, right? Um, so that's the reason. But another reason I want you all to pay attention to this here, the Titanium Rewards Visa Signature Card. That credit card goes from 5,000 up to 50,000. And you do not have to have perfect credit. Your credit score averaging is about a 680, okay? 670, 680 to get this credit card, but it starts at 5,000. That's the reason in my videos I tell you guys, go for a credit card that's a Visa signature credit card, usually with the credit unions, because those credit cards start at about $50,000. That's why that's so important, okay? Now, I hope that this video helps you, and now you can understand how to actually leverage that total Visa card, because a lot of people, they think, oh, I just got this card. But no, you can do more with it, because that gives you a primary unsecured line. So this is Houston with three-way funding. If you have any questions about your personal credit or business credit, you can click the link and set up a consultation with three-way funding, or go to HoustonMcMiller.net and set up a consultation. Thank you.